Let's watch PBS, Public Broadcasting Service, go from optimistic to disappointed on election night. This stream, by the way, is a gold mine of unhinged takes and biased coverage. Take a look.
And to the atmosphere of violence, we need to recognize that this atmosphere of violence that we are contending with is because one of the two candidates for president throughout his entire campaign has invoked violent rhetoric right up until the last couple of days. And so we are here because a person who used to be president of the United States and should know better and should be about bringing us together has decided not to do that aggressively.
Yeah. Let's shift our...
So look, this guy has a ton of takes like that, as you'll see throughout the video. That is ridiculous. Kamala Harris explicitly called Trump a fascist on the campaign trail, among a bunch of other things. And if he's talking maybe about the Liz Cheney comments, totally taken out of context. That's just such a dishonest take there. Plenty of those moving forward.
Every campaign that I've ever worked on has taken great pride in owning the infrastructure that is required to get out the vote. All of that was fed into the central nerve system of the Bush-Cheney campaign. And we took great pride in recognizing where we had to then deploy assets. And we had.
So to give you an idea of how biased this panel is, there are 8 people on the panel. This is the Republican strategist, the Republican on the panel. Listen to his take.
Deploy resources in order to really run an effective campaign. To give that away to outside groups and to have that sort of outside your satellite, or being, having a satellite sort of hold on that, I just think it's a very big risk, and you don't want to be taking risks in presidential campaigns. I would say one of the criticisms I had of the Trump campaign was the last 2 weeks were a distraction, starting with the Madison Square Garden rally. It really did take sort of 48, 72 hours of critical time away from them, driving a closing message. And the issues that are going to matter in this campaign, the economy, housing, even the abortion issue, I think were largely sort of left in the background, while Trump kind of still focused on a lot of his grievance politics and relitigating all of the past elections, and that's always a problem.
On that point, just very quickly.
So that's the Republican on the panel. Does that seem like an unbiased and fair panel to you?
This right track, wrong track question, an NBC News poll out in September showed that 2/3 of the American public believes that the country is on the wrong track. The current president is unpopular, the affordability crisis is real, inflation is real. Many Americans think the economy is bad, even though on paper it isn't. That's a real obstacle for the Harris-Walz campaign to have to surmount. Dave.
So many of these reporters love to tell you, no, trust us, the economy is actually great.
Country about we're on the wrong track. And maybe people think we're on the wrong track because reproductive freedom is in jeopardy and the threats to democracy.
Think about how Trump closed this, because it was awful. I mean, those last 10 days, not only that Madison Square Garden event, which got its own, but then enemy within, we got this issue of journalists or whatever the heck he was talking about, women, whether they like it or not, votes are rigged. You had all kinds of nonsense of antics around Arnold Palmer and microphones and all kinds of stuff that was it affirmed for a lot of people, this is not what we want in office. And I think it was just an awful close for him because, as Kevin says, in a normal environment, I think we were talking about in an earlier panel about the economy, you would have just focused on an economic contrast. You talk about your vision and feeling good about whatever Trump felt about his economy. And he could do none of that. And he had lack of discipline, and I do think it hurt him in a big way.
That Madison Square Garden rally, though, to use your phrase, really did get liberals mad. And it's interesting because we're living in this universe where the competition for attention is so fierce, and people's perceptions of these candidates, more so with Donald Trump, is so calcified that it's hard for really anything to break through. But what that insult comic said about Puerto Rico really broke through, Jonathan. And we'll see if with the degree of the blowback tonight. But why do you think that resonated when, John Kelly saying that Donald Trump fits the textbook definition of a fascist, you could say didn't resonate in the same way?
It didn't resonate, though. It did not show up in a meaningful way in the votes. It resonated, that Puerto Rico comment, in the media. The media ate that up. The voters, not so much.
Look, that Madison Square Garden rally was just a hate fest from beginning to end. And the fact that you had this comic there to say these jokes that were racist, xenophobic, sexist, and that's the beginning of the night. And then it just kept going in that tone for the rest of the night, including from the headliner of the evening, Donald Trump. And for that to be part of the closing message, and I'm with Judy, I would like to know how much this language impacts the way people are going into the voting booth and impacts the way they're thinking about who they want to lead them. But I also think that Madison Square Garden concerned Americans. And let's not put the labels on it, but I do think a lot of Americans looked at that and thought, what the entire hell is happening? If they
You wish they did. You wish they were way more concerned than they are the economy, immigration, etc. But I mean, why would people vote for like the conduct at one speaking event? That's such an out of touch view anyway.
And also, you have a very sort of compromised messenger at the top in Donald Trump, in that he's never come
Remember, that's the Republican strategist on the panel.
up through the pro-life movement, through the party. He doesn't spend a whole lot of time focusing on policy or Supreme Court decisions. And what he's doing now is sort of the way he ran his real estate industry. He was like, what do I got to do to get you into this property, right? And so he's trying now, is like, telling voters, what do I need to do to get you into my position on this issue, and how is it going to appeal to you? And that comes off as very inauthentic. And so there is no through line between the presidential candidate down through the rest of the ballot. And that has been, I think it'll prove to have been a challenge, I think, in the Philadelphia suburbs and suburbs like it around the country on that issue.
Well, that is going to be really fast.
Look, and the media wonders why they're losing trust. You don't have one person on this panel of 8 people giving Trump's point of view of why people would vote for him.
To reach out to women. I think she called one of his rallies like brotastic and urged him to do more. He has not. He's resisted at every turn. We've seen this persistent gender gap. Will that be the death knell for him in some states?
So far, no. I don't see it. I mean,
This is a wild take. Check it out.
it's sort of been a wash so far.
Yeah.
And I don't think the campaign had much to do with why young men are going for Trump. I think it's because if you look at 2/3 of the people in the bottom of high school classes, 2/3 are men. If you go to the top of high school classes, 2/3 are women.
Yes, no, this is the trend we've been seeing anyway.
So this is
right?
a trend.
That
So I
lines
think
up
the
politically.
young men are just like, the system is out to get me, and they're voting. I'm looking at
That's incredible. You could not have this crazy negative stereotype about any other group in society and just openly say that on a panel and go essentially unchecked. That's ridiculous. Young men do poor in high school, so they go, oh, the system's rigged, I'm going to vote Trump. That is an incredibly negative stereotype. Again, any other group, you could not come up with some simplistic thing to describe them.
really what's happening tonight is America is basically on trial, in that we're going to find out who we are through this election. And the fact that despite the things that Donald Trump said on the campaign trail, the things that he's promised on the campaign trail, a lot of things that are concerning to millions of people, and he's still getting more votes than he did the last go round. That to me is
These people almost brag about how out of touch they are.
more concerning than, you know, the vice president's not doing as well. For me, that's what I'm looking at and what I'm most concerned about what I'm about to learn about the American people through this election.
Seth, what are you paying closest attention to at
So this is where they start to realize the night's not going that well for Kamala.
this hour, both in terms of the balance of power in the Congress, but also in the presidential race?
Well, the blue wall is called the blue wall for a reason.
Yeah.
And we are living the blue wall. It's the blue wall or bust, looks like, for Kamala Harris. As a Democratic brand, didn't really make an effective argument that the Trump economy wasn't as great as you think it was, right? It led you into COVID. We had like small business shutdown. We had people.
The Trump economy led us into COVID. What does that mean? Trump's economy was the thing that led the world and America into COVID? What?
I mean, there's a shift right, and then there's a shift to Trump, and shifting to Trumpism. And, you know, I'm looking at a lot of things, especially after David talked about looking at counties and, you know, how Trump is gaining on what he did in 2020. And to me, I'm mystified in some ways, simply because we're talking about a twice impeached, 4 times indicted, convicted on 34 felony counts, former president.
The unhinged takes here start to ramp up. It's very funny, actually.
That's one bucket. Then in another bucket, you have all of the things he's been saying on the campaign trail that gets to the decency that the woman was talking about in that last report, and how she wanted to vote for Vice President Harris because she didn't like that Madison Square Garden rally. I am mystified that despite all of that, he's gaining support compared to 2020. And it gets back to something I said earlier at some point, one of the hours ago, that who are we as a country? And we're starting to find out. And from what I'm seeing right now, I'm not sure I like it.
Well,
Dude, is this therapy? Is that supposed to be political analysis? This isn't your therapy session. You're on television covering the election.
And can I just say something on the trans issue? We need to remember, or folks need to know, that they're hammering, the Trump campaign is hammering the vice president over a policy that he continued and tinkered with, but continued in his presidency. And we're talking about a minuscule portion of the population, and I think this gets to my bigger issue.
A lot of Democrats, when they bring up the transgender issue, they say, oh, it's a small group of people, it's a minuscule population, as this guy says. You wouldn't do that with other issues, though. It can still be an issue people care about. If there was an uptick in crime in a city, you wouldn't say, oh, the uptick's minuscule. It probably still won't affect you. Your car probably won't get broken into.
That hammering away at transgender people, promising a mass deportation plan without talking about how are you going to distinguish between who's here legally and who's here illegally.
Why is legally in air quotes there? What?
The disruption and chaos that he is promising for the country is stultifying. I am mystified by why we are here. Not saying that anything has happened and that the race has been called or anything, right. But again, we're about to find out about half the country is down with this.
Again, dude, this isn't therapy. This guy needs to just take a breath, I think, kind of recoup and come back a little bit more level-headed, because this does not sound like political analysis to me.
The Donald Trump of 2024 is so unlike the Donald Trump of 2016 in a million different ways. But the one that stands out to me is that his closing message in 2016, you can argue the merits of it, but it was clear and it was coherent. It was about being tough on trade. It was about being tough on China. It was about beating back the Clinton and Bush duopoly. It was about draining the swamp. Fast forward to the current moment, you cannot draw a through line to the message that he is trying to convey to the American people. It was objectively dark and undisciplined. So is it less about what he is saying and more about what he embodies?
And that's one of the two people I think supposed to be hosting this panel. I mean, that just sounded like Trump derangement syndrome to me. The messages of 16 and 24 are very similar.
Conversation seems to be drifting into she lost and let's diagnose, let's do an autopsy on.
We are nowhere near that right
exactly.
now.
We are nowhere, correct. We are nowhere near that. And so.
You're very near that. Kamala would have needed a miracle at this point in the night to come back.
So I think the vice president has run a fantastic campaign, given that it's just been 107 days and what she's been able to do in that time. I find it interesting that the YouTube world is dominated by conservative voices, Trump voices, which gets to a point I wanted to make, which is in terms of people getting their news, that there's a whole right-wing echo chamber that amplifies all of the misinformation and disinformation that's going out there.
This guy's like a woke bingo card.
To the American people. And Fox News, the cable channel, the #1 cable channel in the country by multiples. When I look at my ratings for my show on MSNBC, I don't even bother to.
I didn't even know that this guy had a show at MSNBC before I watched this, but that is not surprising at all.
See if I beat Fox. I look to see if I beat CNN, because Fox is way out ahead, and that's where people are getting their news.
But what's the echo chamber? This panel, 8 people on the panel, not one pro-Trump voice. Watch in a second here, when someone disagrees a little bit, it looks totally like an echo chamber. Don't disagree with us.
you can't use 2019. You cannot use her failed run in 2019 and hold it against her after watching this incredible campaign she's run now. If she was such a disaster,
Is it incredible?
But Kevin, if she was such a disaster,
And can you not take it?
I'm sorry.
You absolutely can. You can take 2019 and apply it here. I mean, did she run an incredible race?
if 2019, if she were running the race she ran in 2019, we would not be having this conversation right now.
We should turn to Laura Barron-Lopez. She is actually with the Harris campaign, where she's been reporting all night.
Look, that was a pretty minor disagreement. It got so tense in that room. What's the echo chamber? The right wing, according to that guy, is the echo chamber?
I wondered if, people would be unwilling to tell pollsters that they didn't want to vote for a woman and didn't want to vote for a black woman and South Asian woman. And so, again, this is why I'm looking at this, because we can't just say that, oh, her economic message wasn't right, or, oh, she didn't speak to this particular constituency about fill-in-the-blank issue. Could it be that the country still has an issue with a woman in the top job in the nation, if not the world?
Judy, what do
Look, I really think the Democrats are stuck with identity politics. Imagine telling this guy to chill on identity politics. How do you think that conversation would go?
So wait, play that forward for me. What does that conversation look like in Republican circles if former President Trump loses? What is that conversation for who leads going forward?
Well, if he loses, I think it's one of these things where...
Why are they discussing if Trump loses? I think these networks, they seem to just do this to keep their audience in suspense or something. Because watch this. This is 4 minutes later. The advisor to the Harris campaign comes out and says this, literally 4 minutes later.
That every voice has spoken, so you won't hear from the vice president tonight.
And they're going to try to do this both sides thing. Oh, what if Trump loses? Then what'll happen? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, the mood, Amna, is one that is very anxious and nervous. Supporters are still holding out hope that the blue wall is going to come through for Harris, that Nevada will come through for Harris. But again, they are...
And the side by side is people leaving the Kamala event. They look really hopeful to me.
We as a nation have to have a conversation about why this map looks the way it is. And I hear all the things about economics and populism and things like that, but we also have to factor in some social issues, why they voted the way they voted. And I'm not sure if people are willing to be as honest as I would like them to be, to talk about why this shift is happening.
Oh my goodness, man. So if somebody comes out of the voting booth or whatever and says, hey, I voted for Trump because I thought his economy was better, you just won't believe him? You'll just think, oh, you're not being honest with me.
Now, Arizona, very much in reach for Harris. So let's say he doesn't get it. Let's say he wins in Nevada.
Why are they doing this? This is 30 minutes after that advisor to Kamala's campaign came out and told supporters Kamala wasn't going to speak tonight. Why do they insist on doing this? Maybe to keep their audience in suspense, but it's very dishonest.
That's not enough. So Harris could still lose Wisconsin and Nevada, but as long as she gets Arizona, she still stays in the game. So what I'm telling you is, of these 5 states here, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, she's got to win, depending on the combination, 3 of them, especially Pennsylvania. The path is getting narrow, but it is there for both candidates right now.
And a lot of people wonder why trust in mainstream media is so low.
And I've come to this election with an open mind, and I want to know what the American people have to say. What was it, 6 hours ago, I was mystified by what was going on. And now I can't help but think that if this election seems to be, if it proves out that the millions of people who are watching Fox News, if that ends up being the case, then I can't help but wonder if the American people have given up on democracy.
Oh my goodness, man. This guy is a meme. This is incredible. Okay, 2 more clips here. These are after Trump gave his victory speech at Mar-a-Lago.
David, we heard former President Trump there talk about helping the country to heal, about being a good leader for all Americans. Forgive my skepticism, but when In the many years we've seen him on the national political stage, have we ever seen anything other than an incredibly divisive political figure?
Yeah, that wasn't changed.
So again, that's one of the two, I believe, the hosts, people sitting in the middle. Is that fair? Is that a real question?
To be honest, there's also a part of me that's not shocked. I mean, for a lot of people, this will be 2016 all over again. And for me, it's not. Because, you know, I lived through the 4 years of Trump's administration. I remember what that was like.
Didn't almost everybody also live through it, unless you like lived in another country or something?
And I just have to say that this is a sobering moment for me as an African American, because things that he said on the campaign trail about giving power to police to do all sorts of things that would loop me in potentially to being have an encounter with the police that I didn't ask for. As a gay American, I'm concerned because that's the conservative supermajority on the court, particularly Justice Thomas, in his concurrence with the Dobbs decision, said, you know what, we should go after Obergefell. So which legalized same-sex marriage. So my marriage is on the line. As a journalist, I'm concerned.
Look, I made this point in other videos. It's going to be incredibly hard, I think, for the Democratic Party to get rid of woke, as some people are saying. Some people are so tied in, so passionate about identity politics. It's going to be very difficult for the Democratic Party to pivot away from woke if they want to.
Because just 2 days ago, he talked about how I've got...
Anyway, he talks about it being a journalist. I'm going to end the video here, but thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I've been really appreciating all the comments. My channel's been going a little bit up lately, which is nice. But yeah, like I said, leave a comment, like and subscribe. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next video.